Ladies and gentlemen, over the last several months, we heard about a variety of different states that are setting up commissions to see how they can get reparations out to the descendants of the enslaved. And Washington, D.C. and H.R. 40 has literally been sitting there collecting dust. We haven't seen or heard a thing. Now, since all of these different states, and I got another one that I probably will do, Kansas City is another state that's putting together a commission for reparations. Okay. So now all of a sudden, out of nowhere, not we have probably haven't heard about HR 40 in what last 2, 3 years? Because I think it was even before the pandemic was probably the last time we heard or seen any hearings or anything. So now they're coming out of nowhere, and the Democrats, they seek reparations, national apology for slavery. We're moving closer. Closer to what? Closer to what? You haven't done nothing. You know what? Bunk a national apology. The hell with that. Put the money on the table. That's all you need to do. Put the money on the table. Dozens of House Democrats this week renewed their push for reparations and a national apology for slavery by reintroducing legislation that would set up a commission to consider these steps as a way to address the cruelty, brutality, and inhumanity of slavery in the U.S. Rep. Sheila Jackson Lee, please, Texas, and 52 House Democrats proposed a legislation this week in an effort to keep the issue alive. Wow. Her legislation, which was considered by the House Judiciary Committee and last Congress when Democrats were in charge, is unlikely to take up in the 118th Congress led by Republicans. Well, then why didn't you bring it up when the Democrats still had control of Congress? You're going to wait. Y'all, isn't this obvious to everybody? You're going to bring it up when Republicans got control, and you know it ain't going to go anywhere. You already know that. Because at the end of the day, let's be real, Democrats don't really want us to have reparations, and neither do Republicans. Because if you really did, it wouldn't take this long to go through this process. It sure don't take long for everybody else. But as soon as it's us, everything got to go at a snail's pace. No, this is very disingenuous. Still, Jackson Lee said she is hopeful a commission can be formed not just to recommend monetary compensation, but to help America understand how slavery still affects the country today. They already know this. You don't have to make them understand nothing. You don't have to make them understand a thing. With the amount of time they are taking on this, you probably could have wrote a million commissions right now and got them done. Everything's at a snail pace when it's us. So, though some have tried to deflect the importance of these conversations by focusing on individual monetary compensation, the real issue is whether or how this nation can come to grips with the legacy of slavery that still infects society today through legislation, resolution, news, and litigation. We are closer to making more strides in the movement towards reparation. So, the new Democratic House leader, Hakeem Jeffries of New York, said in November that he supports the idea of a commission because of the lingering effects of slavery and ongoing discrimination against Black Americans. Well, you need to support monetary compensation. I'm getting tired of these people trying to hide behind a commission. especially in DC. Now, the states that are just starting, that's one thing. These folks have been sitting on HR 40 for years now. There is no excuse that we should still be hearing about commissions and not any type of monetary compensation at this point in time. We're not going to move on because after slavery, there was Jim Crow and a rise of the KKK, Jeffrey said in 2021. After the lynching epidemic and Plessy versus Ferguson and Black Wall Street in 1921 destroyed. Jackson Lee said that while progress have been made, well, what progress has been made? Does anybody have the reparations in their hand? What progress has been made? They haven't spoken about HR 40 probably going on 3 years. So, what progress was made? Oh, these people, including the election of a black president, the legacy of slavery lingers heavily in this nation. She said monetary compensation needs to be part of the discussion because slavery created an economic impact on black Americans that still can be felt today. Right. And we never benefited from that monetary impact. We never did. The economic issues are the root cause of the many critical issues in the African American community today, such as education, healthcare, and criminal justice policy, including policing practices, she said. Wow. She's talking about a lot of things that I brought up in my previous reparation videos. Think they're not watching us? Of course they are. So, ladies and gentlemen, she's claiming the call for reparations represents a commitment to entering a constructive dialogue on the role of slavery and racism in shaping present day conditions in our community and American society. The bill makes no recommendation of what kind of payment should be offered or how many national apologies would be issued, but leaves it to the commission to study and develop reparation proposals for African Americans. So they haven't done nothing. You know, they haven't done nothing. So you're proposing a payment and you absolutely don't have no plan together, just running your mouth. Well, that's all you've been doing all along. No, I'm not impressed, y'all. Sorry, I'm not. Not impressed. So she goes on to say the bill makes, okay, I've read that part. So, aside from examining the ways the federal government promoted slavery, the commission would examine the lingering negative effects of the institution of slavery on living African Americans. The commission would examine how to provide full reparations for slavery. Who would be eligible for compensation? It should be the people that have a lineage that links them back to chattel slavery. I can name the slaves in my family. It's really not that hard, y'all. They've tried to make it difficult, but many of us still can draw a line to chattel slavery. I did it when I created my family tree. So these folks that are sitting out here talking about, do you even know who they were? Yeah, I know who they are. Ask the right Negro and you'll get answers. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, they're still talking about how the federal government would offer a formal apology for slavery and how to eliminate those lingering effects of slavery. Mm-mm-mm. Jackson Lee noted that the legislation was first developed by former House member John Conyers of Michigan in 1989. Like I said, they could have had a million plans drafted on how the money would be distributed. 1989. And here we are in 2023, and trust me, it's going to be well beyond. So anyway, and the idea has been offered in the years since he first proposed it. She said the bill is more relevant than ever, given what she called an over criminalization and policing of Black bodies. Okay, you are a lawmaker along with many others. You are fully aware that policing is completely slanted, skewed, and unfair when it comes down to people in the community, right? You are fully aware. So for this woman who is a lawmaker to say we are over criminalized and policing of Black bodies, then why haven't y'all pushed any legislation to shut this mess down? You know what's going on. You're seeing the stories out here in the media just like the rest of us, but y'all let it go on. You're the lawmaker. So what's your excuse? So the principal problem of slavery continues to weigh heavy on this country, she said. A federal commission can help us reach into the dark past and bring us into a brighter future. Well, you can't do that unless you put money on the table. All right. If you are not willing to do that, then you can miss us all with the babble. We done ate enough word salad when it comes down to slavery in this country and reparations. We need to see some action. I'm sorry. The words just ring hollow until we see some action and some real movement on compensation. I really I don't want to hear from these politicians in Washington. They have proven to be the most useless on the planet when it comes down to the Black community. I am sick of these folks. And then you look at people like Sheila Jackson Lee, they sit in these positions for decades and decades while our people are being gunned down in the streets, unarmed. Mass incarceration has never ended. Okay. And they're even catching places doing redlining still. And we see all this stuff going on in this country that's still discriminatory. And she is a lawmaker. Have you heard of her pushing a piece of legislation for even fair sentencing in the courts? Have you seen them push legislation for those that have put innocent people in jail? You will go to jail. Have you heard them pushing any legislation like that? These people are absolutely useless. For real. Y'all tell me what you think of this latest farce coming from Sheila Jackson Lee. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.